we had a match between Natalya and Brie Bella, and you know, we had all the total divas out there with Naomi and Cameron and Eva Marie, and JoJo was the ring announcer. But the match really wasn't all that special. Honestly, Brie Bella beat Natalya. Couldn't care less. That's not why I'm talking about it. Why I'm talking about it is because AJ Lee came out after the match and cut a really heartfelt, truthful, in my opinion, one of the best diva promos I've heard in a while. And she buried the show. All the divas inside the ring talked about how the divas only get by because of their looks, how they can't wrestle, how she's tired of all these prissy, girly looking divas coming in and getting spots when she busted her ass and actually worked hard for her spot. And the fact that they had to go to a reality TV show to get over with the audience because they couldn't get it done inside the ring. And pretty much told them all that they couldn't lace up her Chuck Taylors. And her delivery, what she said, well, her delivery was decent. It wasn't the best in the world, in my personal opinion, but what she said was on point. I thought AJ cut a really good Divas promo, and I'm almost scared to believe that this probably turned her babyface unintentionally. You know, because the fans were getting behind her because of it. She got cheers because of what she said. The fans were chanting AJ. So in terms of making her the villain of the Divas division, it probably backfired, but I'm going to weigh it out. It did do what it needs to do and get people talking about the Divas division because, dear God, we don't get that a lot nowadays. I think that's awesome. I want to see some Divas step up. I want to see Naomi. I want to see Natalya. I want to see somebody step up and face AJ now. What happened to Caitlyn? Seriously, where did Caitlyn go? Are we just done with Caitlyn now? I don't like that. Can we at least get her involved in something to let us know, alright, that's why she's not involved in this. She's just on TV. Why? You know, but this is good. I like what AJ Lee did here. I think this could be good for her when it comes to her being the top villain of the Divas division. But at the same time, if not used correctly, and if they let this go too far, this could actually end up turning AJ Lee babyface unintentionally and making the other divas not as likable. But like I said, it's a great platform for divas like Natalya and Naomi to step up and facing AJ. I want to see these divas step up because AJ Lee right now is the best diva they have right now. She's the strongest diva character, at least. And you have to be on your A game to stand up against her because she's gotten a lot of TV time with a lot of top-notch wrestlers like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Dolph Ziggler who helped her get where she is. And the divas haven't gotten that yet. So they better be on their A game, otherwise AJ Lee's going to run over all of them. Hopefully not, because I want to see them use this platform with AJ to make their roster even more special, which they are. I'm happy because of that. But again, this could also end up showing how weak their roster is if they're not careful with it. So I look forward to seeing where this is going and to seeing who will stand up against AJ in the near future, whether it's Natalya, Naomi, or someone new. What they did with CM Punk and Paul Heyman tonight was yet another chapter in this awesome saga between him, Paul Heyman, and Brock Lesnar. And whatever Paul Heyman got, Curtis Axel, they get involved in this. Really awesome. It was awesome to see CM Punk fighting Curtis Axel, beating him, and then getting his match against Paul Heyman, and to see himself handcuffed and just beaten down to shreds, restrained and unable to do anything as Paul Heyman just wails on him with the kendo stick, leaving lacerations over his body, him in pain, and him just wanting to get his hands on Paul Heyman. You know, Paul Heyman is like that red cape, and CM Punk is like a bull. Every time he sees Paul Heyman, he just loses himself. He goes into a trance and just goes after him. And I love that. That's actually really awesome. It shows you how much he hates Paul Heyman and wants to get his hands on him. He's almost to the point where he would sell his soul to Satan himself just to get his hands on Paul Heyman. That's what they're conveying, and I love that. That's really awesome. So, I'm loving this storyline. I'm looking forward to their handicap elimination match where if Paul Heyman leaves, I think he gets fired. Well, Brad Maddox just said he's gone, or you won't see him again. So I'm going to assume it means if Paul Heyman leaves, he's fired, right? Or is that going to lead to something else stupid? I think the stipulation of him leaving the match he's fired works very well. I think they should keep that. But we'll see what happens with that. This is really good. This is awesome. I am enthralled with this work, and why am I not surprised? CM Punk and Paul Heyman are working wonders. Are they writing this? I think Paul Heyman is writing this storyline. He has to be. This is too good for any other writer to be writing. Well, I say that, and this storyline up next I'm getting ready to talk about is almost just as good, if not better. So tonight we got more of the storyline between Daniel Bryan and the McMahon Corporation involving Triple H, Randy Orton, Stephanie McMahon, and Vince McMahon. Randy Orton got himself a new car. When I saw that new car, I already told myself, yeah, it's gonna get destroyed by the end of the night. They did this in 2009. 9 with Kofi Kingston, where he just came and destroyed Randy Orton's car and poured paint over it. What they did with Daniel Bryan tonight, after Randy Orton beat Christian in what was a good match, by the way. Wasn't as good as their others, but it was still a solid match. Daniel Bryan pretty much vandalized his car by spray painting or graffitiing yes, all over it. It was hilarious. And honestly, I'm happy he didn't destroy the car, because if he was to have destroyed the car like everybody else did, like Austin did, like Kofi Kingston did, it wouldn't have gone across very well. The fact that he did it in that way was a little bit more original, was a little bit more clever, in my personal opinion, so I liked it more. I'm pretty sure some of y'all preferred him to destroy it, but I like that one more. But what I really want to talk about is what happened at the end, and this is where I want to come to you guys for this one, because I'm not too sure about how to feel about this one. I had one reaction about it on Twitter. Now making this video, I have a different reaction to it, but I'm not too sure about how to feel about it. But let me ask you guys about it. First off, The Shield versus Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan are always having good matches. Great matches, by the way. They can't have a bad match. I don't think they can. Dean Ambrose and Daniel Bryan could have gone a little bit longer, but I understand from storyline purposes it had to be short. And after the match, The Shield pretty much beat up Daniel Bryan and destroy him. And the entire roster was on stage, and pretty much what happened was Triple H told the entire roster that if anybody, stands up against what he's doing, they will be fired. And so we had Renee Young out there asking people like, what are your thoughts about what they're doing to Daniel Bryan? Do you think this is wrong? And people like The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Big Show, I think they asked someone else, but those three didn't say anything. They were just quiet. Yeah, Big Show, I'm confused too, because doesn't he have an ironclad contract that means only Vince McMahon can fire him? Well, wasn't Johnny Ace the one, or John Laurinaitis the one that gave him that ironclad contract? So at the same time, yeah, I think Triple H can actually fire him after all. Never mind, okay. But even then, watching that as Daniel Bryan gets beat up by the Shield and the roster just sitting there and doing nothing, my initial reaction was, if y'all just stand there and do nothing, y'all are some pussies. Every single one of you. You know, that was my initial reaction, because again, babyface getting beat up, you're into the show, you want the good guys to prevail, and when they don't, it's like, oh, come on, y'all some pussies. I hate all of y'all. But that's just me getting into the show. So those of y'all wondering, oh, Deluxe, man, you overreacting. Guys, I know it's the storyline, but that's just me getting into the show. I understand the whole idea of it's their livelihood, they have families to feed, this is the best place to be when it comes to wrestling, there's no other place better than the WWE, and they love what they do, so they just don't want to lose their job, and they feel like helping Daniel Bryan as much as they wanted to, and they sold that very well. Everybody was just like, I can't keep watching this, especially Big Show. Big Show was cheered by the audience. The audience was chanting for Big Show to help Daniel Bryan out. Everybody was invested into this. When was the last time you heard an audience chant Big Show? Not that often. Not that often at all. So, the fact that they were showed you how effective this was. And so, with that said, I asked this question to you guys. Was this good? Do you think this was the best thing to happen for the WWE? Do you think this would be good going into the future? Do you think this will actually help the storyline and create a great opportunity to make some new baby faces? Like if a Cody Rhodes stands up against a Triple H and he helps Daniel Bryan, he's made, or a Ziggler or a Big Show. You know what I'm saying. Or do you think this buried the roster and this was bad for WWE because now it showed you that the roster is just full of pussies? I mean, people like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and CM Punk and all those other men, even Kurt Angle to a certain extent, were strong enough. Shawn Michaels made DX, especially Triple H, but we're so used to all these men standing up against authority when we have an entire roster of people who don't do it, although knowing what they're doing is wrong, and they know it is. Does that really help them out? Does that make them look like pussies? So, what do you say? Do you think the WWE roster was in the right for not helping out Daniel Bryan and you understand them? Or are you on the side of they're pussies? they're all freaking pussies. They're all freaking tools. They should have helped Daniel Bryan because it was wrong. Let me get your thoughts about that, guys. Share it down below in the comment section or make a video response to what you do. But to me, Raw was good tonight. I mean, the first hour was kind of, the stuff with The Miz and Fandango, I don't care. I just don't. It was just, Rob Van Dam and Alberto Del Rio having a match at Night of Champions. Not that interested. I mean, the match could be good, but I just don't care all that much. I probably could care later on when the pay-per-view gets closer, but as of right now, I just don't care. We'll see where that goes. But everything else, involving Damien Sandow, Cody Rhodes, the tag team matches with the primetime players getting a push now. They're getting a lot of TV time because of Darren Young coming out and saying he was gay and stuff like that. And the stuff with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and stuff like that. So to me, Raw was still a solid show. I just want to get your thoughts on this roster not standing up to Triple H, because it could lead to the roster eventually turning on Triple H and helping out Daniel Bryan, which would be very satisfying. But if they don't do it, and it's just Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, I'm not trying to nitpick it, I'm not trying to think negatively, I want it to be good, but you guys have to understand why I think this way, and why I feel like, hey, this is a risky situation, and if they do it right, it could have great results. And if they do it wrong, probably won't, but let's see what happens, guys. Give me your thoughts down below, and I'll talk to you next time in my next video. Your boy, the Alyx signing off. Deuces.